This problem says for a Saturday matinee, adult tickets cost $7.50 and kids under 12 pay only $5. If 110 tickets are sold for a total of $700, how many of the tickets were adult tickets and how many were sold to kids under 12? So what's going on is you have two types of tickets. There's adult tickets and kids tickets. And we want to define a variable for one of them. So let's say that X is the number of adult tickets. And when you're defining the variable, you want to make sure that the variable stands for a number. So it's not, I didn't write X equals adult. I didn't write X equals 750. Okay, that's not what X stands for. X is the number of tickets for adults that are sold. Okay, and why would we let X be the number of adult tickets? Well, because when we do that, we'll see that we can solve the problem by letting X be this. Because if you have X adult tickets, how many kids tickets must there be? It says 110 tickets are sold, right? And there's two types of tickets. There's the one for adults and one for kids. So if you have X adult tickets, then how many kids tickets are there? 110 minus X, because it's the remaining, right? You start off with 110 tickets. X of them are for adults. Then the remaining, that's 110 minus X, must be for kids. So 110 minus X is the number of kids tickets. Okay. So now we have to put the sentence, adult tickets cost $7.50 and kids pay $5 and the total is $700. So that information gives us an equation for the total cost. Because if you have X adult tickets, okay, you have X adult tickets and each of them is $7.50, then what do you do to find the total cost? You multiply, right? It's $7.50 times X. So $7.50, so 7.5 times X is the cost of the adult tickets. And then how much are the kids tickets? Well, they are $5 each. And so if you have 110 minus X kids tickets, then the total cost of the kids tickets is 5 times 110 minus X. So when you add these together, that is the total cost of all 110 tickets. So 7.5X is the cost of the adult tickets. 5 times 110 minus X is the cost of the kids tickets. And the problem says that the total is $700. So now you have this equation and you can solve for X. And one thing you can do to get rid of the decimal, if you don't like the decimal, is to multiply by 100, but then that'll make these numbers big. So I think I'm just going to distribute the 5 across. So I get 7.5x plus, so 5 times 110 is 550. And then you have minus 5x equals 700. Now I have 7.5x minus the 5x, right? I have this and this. I can combine the like terms. I get 7.5 minus 5, and that's 2.5. So 2.5x plus 550 equals 700. Now I'm trying to get x, right? That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to subtract 550 on both sides. So I get 2.5x is 700 minus 550. That gives me 150. Then I divide both sides by 2.5. And if I do 150 divided by 2.5, I'm going to get 60. So I found that x equals 60. Now what does that mean? Now you need to look back at what x was. How did we define x? The number of the number of adult tickets. So there are 60 adult tickets. And how many kids tickets? Well, there's 110 minus x. And we know that x is 60. So it's 110 minus 60, that's 50. So the answer is they sold 60 adult tickets and 50 kids tickets.